Hey y'all, it's Kim. So obviously you'll probably know this, but the JFK stuff has already dropped. Oh my goodness. So there are a few books that I think you should read along with going through these things. I'm not seeing anything like super earth shattering at this moment, but I've only gone through the first page, and some of them are duplicate items of the National Archives. But here's one book I think you should read. It's The Devil's Chessboard with Alan Dulles, the CIA, and the Rise of America's Secret Government. This one was very, very eye opening for me. It's on my Kindle Unlimited, but that Alan Dulles guy was evil. And you see right here it says Dulles undermined or betrayed every president he served in high office. So that man, this is how evil he is. During World War II, he had spies and just people coming to him with certain information just because of his position. So I think he was working somewhere overseas. And obviously, the CIA is technically not allowed on American soil. But anyway, I'm sure they are, but they were there to fight communism. That's the whole point. Like the guy in the OSS, I can't remember the office of something. I can't remember now. Whatever, strategic something, blah, blah, blah. I'm not going to even look it up. You can get the books, get them on your Kindle Unlimited, whatever. Check it out. Anyway, this man had an opportunity to save, I think, maybe it was Austrian Jews or somebody like that, but just people from Austria that were Jewish that were going to be sent off to the camps, concentration camps, and he didn't do anything with the information. He held it in his own possession. He never did anything with it. Can you believe that? He had an opportunity, he had the information, and he didn't do anything with it. So, anyway, evil, rotten, disgusting. I mean, these people just they lost their way ultimately. But like I said, it's a secret government. So, Trump goes on about the deep state. We see what's happened with even all this USAID stuff. Anyway, the next book that I was actually put on the Kindle Unlimited, it's The Man Who Killed Kennedy, The Case Against LBJ. I haven't started reading this one. I don't know yet. I don't know if y'all have seen this book around. Well, where's it at? Oh, let me see. Chaos. Why is it doing that? I should have the background. Anyways, the Chaos. It says Charles Manson, the CIA, and the Secret History of the 60s by Tom O'Neill. I know he's got an Instagram page. I don't really go on Instagram other than to look up political stuff, but I guess if I saw something, I would probably like it. And then this is the other book that I'm reading. It's called The Legacy of Ashes. I don't know how you pronounce his last name, but Tim Weiner. I don't know. I'm not trying to, mess his name up. But anyway, this is the history of the CIA. I found this one and then the Devil's Chessboard. Very interesting. This one, The Chaos. This one was recommended to me by Candace Owens, on her podcast. And so I started reading that, and then now they have a Netflix show to kind of go along with it. But anyway, all the stuff that they were doing. This is another book I've only gotten into like the first part of it. It's called Case Closed by Gerald, I guess it's Posner. So you can get information from different sources, but let's look at just a few of these little documents. Let's go back to the actual JFK. This is the National Archives, and this is the stuff that's been released today, or not today, but on the 18th. So, yeah. Yes, whatever. What day are we on? Tuesday, I guess, is when it was released. I think they were still releasing more, but the first, 10 or however many records that are here, I've looked through some of these, and there's nothing really that's like, oh, this stands out as blah blah blah. This is just a letter, I think, for the Warren Commission to release some documents, And then it says, I might mention that our inquiry to you in August 1968 was in anticipation of further pressure for the release of Warren Commission papers, a pressure which has not materialized. So they would have held on to these papers just indefinitely if there was no pressure. They're like, we don't care. We're not going to comply. I mean, that's just from that one sentence. I'm like, what? Now, this was back, like I said, 1968 is when this was. Kennedy passed or was killed in 63. So that just told you they weren't going to do much with it. Let's see. The next one, this, I didn't even know what this is. Some kind of distribution list. Like I said, it's nothing earth shattering in here. Yeah, I just kind of skimmed through them all. There's not much. This says the Warren Commission's report on the assassination of President Kennedy focused attention on the magnitude of the problem involved in the protection of the chief executive. Where have we had that before? A problem protecting the chief executive, Butler, PA, Secret Service, and that other group. It wasn't even Secret Service. But anyway, y'all know how that turned out. It says, as you know, it is our responsibility overseas and in headquarters to render every support possible to the Secret Service in the conduct of its statutory responsibilities in the United States, and especially when the president travels abroad. The circumstances confronting the Warren Commission produced discussion and testimony on various aspects of the problem of presidential protection and on interagency operational cooperation, which normally do not find their way into the public domain. These include the acquisition and dissemination of information, consultation, coordination, and operational interchanges. I believe you will be interested in the attached extracts of testimony given before the Warren Commission by U.S. intelligence and security officials, pertinent portions have been sidelined. I commend these materials for reading by all officers in positions of senior responsibility in headquarters and overseas. And then just got a bunch of stuff. Just like I said, nothing earth shattering so far. And I guess these are some of the areas that they were sending all this stuff to. Like the different field offices, maybe. I don't know. I'm assuming that's what these are. And I don't know. These must be some type of codes. Let's see, where are we at here? So this is just, it's, what does this say? Oh, a name check and consolidation request. I don't even know what that means. Roman Dedkov, Fedorovich. And then I guess the names, Valasa, Nicol. I can't even read that. The letters don't look right. So this is from the USSR, I guess, or that's where they were born. Let's see here. Yeah, so see, some of this just doesn't, it's nothing relevant really other than some papers. It says one Roman Fedorov Dedkov, born 28th of March 1927 in, is that Erinska? I can't see some of these. You can't really see what it is. This is USSR, and his wife Valasa Nikolaevlin. Okay, Dedkov, born 31st of December 1930 in Minsk. I can at least pronounce that one. Yeah, I can't tell what those letters are. Erinsk. I don't know. So Minsk, USSR applied for or were listed as applicants for entry visas to India sometime prior to April 1962. Dedkov was issued Soviet passport number 207461 on 17th of September 1960, and was scheduled to arrive in New Delhi for 2 years as an English teacher at a Soviet embassy It is not known if Dedkov actually arrived in New Delhi, and then somebody put a note here. It says maybe not sent because it shows liaison, maybe liaison, I don't know, to Indians, a name list, not classified, maybe something like that. I couldn't really read it. Subject scheduled to arrive in New Delhi for 2 years. Okay, so that's basically okay. Ariansk, Ariansk. Okay, now I can see this word. That's where the guy was, I guess, originally from. Anyway, some of this is just not a lot or earth shattering. Let's see. So something about requests. I guess this request traces Joachim Jostin. I can't even see it. 29th of July, 07. Cologne. I don't know. That's like crazy. Maybe that's his date of birth. Okay, July 29th, 07. So maybe that's his birth. Entire adult career and author, CA 30 books, and numerous paper or newspaper articles. Hold on. I know there's a better copy of this. Let me see if I can find it because that's hard to read. So, this thing. Okay. So, in May 33, fled to France. Yeah. See, these are so hard to read. I thought there was a darker copy of it. Hold on. I'll find it. That one's long too. There's like 37 pages of stuff. Not that. Sorry. No, there was a bunch of these. This was duplicated a few different times. Okay, let me go back. Okay, we're just going to read this. Something about a request. Okay, so basically newspaper articles and the guy's an author. It says post World War II works very anti Kubark. What? Last okay title. Oswald, assassin or fall guy, has written under probably a pseudonym and okay, pseudonyms. Franz von Nesselrode. Anyway, it looks like pretty much they're just getting after this guy because he wrote a book. I mean, I don't know. That just doesn't make sense. It's nothing special. And I guess in May of 33, he fled to Paris, was in Copenhagen maybe, 36 to 37, but expelled or left because his Danish government writings. He left Denmark for France via Iceland. In 40, in Sweden, married May Nielsen, came to U.S. via USSR in 41 and naturalized citizen since 48, maybe. And would appreciate as full a check if as possible, including local services and available overt local pre-World War II references, press, books, etc. on Jostin and fiance. And then what does this say? For Berlin, please also check something DDC, BDC, and request photos and any docs, I guess. Can address and name. I don't know what that says. NES be checked. Some of this stuff is hard to read. All addresses, please request urgently as matter also of interest to the Warren Commission. Okay. So some of this, like I said, is just they're asking for information on these people. This one's like a lot of pages. It's 37 pages of stuff. I don't really want to read through all of this because it's very small writing, even though, and then they've got all this cursive. And I mean, I don't know. I can read cursive, but this handwriting's not very good. I mean, they just have a bunch of handwritten notes on here, but 37 pages of stuff, I couldn't read that. Yeah, and there's no way I want to sit there and read all this. Okay, so here's, oh, what is all this? American woman who met and married Soviet citizen. American student, American clergyman. What is all this? That's weird. Hmm. So they must have been really tracking somebody's movements. Okay, foreigner left USSR without Soviet spouse. That's interesting. So all the names here. Yeah, it's kind of like just information stuff. And then here's something, a memo for the record at 0900 this morning. I talked with Frank Freiberg, recently returns COS Helsinki, regarding the Warren Commission inquiry concerning the timetable of Oswald's stay in Finland in October 1959, including his contact with the Soviet consulate there. Copy of the commission letter of 25 of May 1964 and state cable of 22nd of May of 1964 is attached. It says Freiberg gave me the following information. It takes 25 minutes to drive from the airport to downtown Helsinki by taxi. It would take no more than 5 minutes to reach the Soviet consulate. The Soviet consulate probably closed at 1300 hours local time on Saturdays in 1959. In the passengers list, it's a manifest at the U.S. consulate in Helsinki are retained for 6 months only and then are destroyed. Mr. Robert Fulton, CIA, was U.S. consular official there at the time. A copy of State's cable inquiry would go to the Helsinki station and they would assist in preparation of a reply. And Mr. Freiberg agreed that it would be worthwhile to cable the station concerning points not covered by state in their inquiry. He suggested changes incorporated into the cable sent to Helsinki. So it was just, like I say, a bunch of communicators, whatever. This one's basically that same document, just in a darker, or yeah, just like a copy of a copy. Yeah, same thing. There's nothing groundbreaking thus far. Now this is kind of weird. So let's see. This says 2025 release under the President John F. Kennedy Assassination Records Act of 1992. So this stuff was supposed to be out way earlier. It says a clipping of an article, The Kennedy Murder and the Secret Services of the USA. It's got Arthur P. Irie or something like that. Let's see. This is kind of a little interesting. It says the attached article, which may be of interest to you, appeared in the 7th of March issue of the Italian Communist Party Weekly, Rinascita, something like that. This right here, that word, we can't highlight it, unfortunately. It says the writer Gianfranco Corsini has been on and off U.S. correspondent for the Italian Communist Press. Remember, the CIA was instituted to combat communism, so I'm just saying this could have been a propaganda thing and it could have been something else. It says, note that in the section penciled in red, rumors are referred, which suggests that whatever this is, it was the agency to organize the murder of. It says, which suggests that whatever this is that's taken out, that it was the agency to organize the murder of President Kennedy. Unfortunately, the clipping is not retained. So I'm wondering if you could still find that online somewhere. That would be interesting. Let me get this out of here. I want to check something. I want to open this up. What's it called? Google.com. But what was that article? Okay, the Italian Rinascita? Rinascita? Rinascita. Let's see. Okay. It may be something that's debunked, but oh, okay. So it was between 1944 and March of 1991. Let's see if there is. Italian Communist Party, Gianfranco. Let's see, Gianfranco Corsini. Gianfranco. I'm probably not saying that right, but what was the last name? Oh, Corsini. Sorry. Let's see if we can find it. Oh, PDF. I wonder. Oh, it's in the National Archives. Okay, it just basically going back to that. That's the same one we just looked at. This, yeah, 10041. So the article itself is probably like gone. I don't know if you could find it anywhere. Yeah. Oh, let's see here. Unless it's on another page, in which case we need to go back over here. This thing is so many pages of junk. I'm telling you. Let's see what the next set goes to. I mean, this is pretty cool. It's kind of a deep dive into this stuff. Okay, so this says, Dear Anthony, regarding your letter 6705, whatever that is, of 10th of May, 1982, our records indicate that Valery Vladimirovich Kostakov traveled to Mexico, France, Spain, the US, and Cuba during the period 1959 to 61. In 1961, he was assigned permanently to Mexico City as a consular officer and served there until August of 1965. He was variously described as a translator, vice consul, and an attaché. During this tour, he attempted to cultivate a U.S. government employee assigned to our embassy in Mexico City. Let's see. Oh, there you go. In September and October 1963, Lee Harvey Oswald approached the Soviet embassy in Mexico City in an attempt to get a visa allowing him to return to the USSR. Kostakov, as a consular officer, handled this visa request. We have no information which indicates any relationship between these individuals other than for the purpose of Oswald making his visa request. Kostakov returned to Mexico City for a second tour of duty in July 1968. During this tour, he was again assigned to the consular section and was a secretary. It appeared that he was tasked with following the activities of the Central American Communist parties and left-wing groups, and he met often with members of these groups, reportedly providing them with funds and technical guidance. In July and August of 1969, Kostakov made an unusual TDY trip to Moscow, lasting 3 weeks. His family remained in Mexico. In July 1971, he made a 4-day trip to Havana. Oh my goodness. Kostakov's tour in Mexico ended unexpectedly in September of 1971. Our information indicated that he was not due to leave for another 3 to 4 months. And at the time of his departure, there was some speculation that the suddenness of his departure was due to the fact he was known to Lyelin, whoever that is. Oh boy. It says, while in Mexico, he was considered by some to be the most effective and dangerous of intelligence officers in Mexico. He has been described as being without morals, education, and manners. Shortly after his arrival in Mexico in 1968, he was arrested in front of a house of prostitution after being involved in a fist fight with some locals. It appears this incident did not affect his position in Mexico City, despite the fact that it received a good deal of press coverage. We are aware only that Kostikov arrived in Beirut in June of 1978, and we are unable to confirm his presence there now. Although our file indicates that Kostikov may have been a member of Department 13, Executive Action, Department, I guess, V's, or it could be a 5, depending on if we're looking at Roman numerals. Department, I guess, 5's predecessor. We have been unable to confirm this. Also, to the best of our knowledge, the KGB, which is basically like the CIA, but for USSR, has not engaged in such executive action since 1959. And then David H. Blee, and then Mr. Anthony C.M. DeVere, DeVere, I don't know, DeVere. Oh my goodness. So this, wow, these documents, I guess you kind of are getting into a little bit of stuff. Let's see what this has. Oh man, what is this? Okay, so this is Valery Vladimirovich Kostikov. It says, please refer to our conversation of 6th of May. Kostikov, born 17th of March 1933, Moscow, was posted to Beirut in 1978 as first secretary and may still be there. He is identified KGB and served in Mexico City from 1961 to 71. There is a reference to him on page 307 of Barron's KGB, which suggests that he may have been Department 5 or V, depending on which one you're looking at. It says, we did not appear to have asked Lylan about him. I guess that's how you say that name, and are now doing so. We also note that Epstein in legend claims that according to a CIA telecheck, Kostikov was Lee Harvey Oswald's KGB case officer in Mexico City. According to Barron, page 335, Oswald was in Mexico between September and November of 1963 and was seeking to obtain a Soviet visa. There was certainly a KGB interest in Oswald, although, according to Nasenko, this was defensive. The reason for our current interest in Kostikov will be obvious. As you are aware, our embassy in Beirut, in common with other Western missions, has been subject to threats and violence in recent months. And in view of earlier hostile attentions from the KGB, we have been reviewing our records of KGB staff in the area who might have been involved in promoting strong arm tactics. Oh my goodness. Strong arm tactics. Wow. I'm going to have to write something down here in a second. Oh, I need to post it. Sorry. I got to figure out where to stop because I can only do so much of this. So, strong arm tactics. Really? It says, we would be grateful for your views as to whether the KGB are likely to be behind any of the recent incidents, possibly due to Syrians, and for any information on Kostikov and his actions in Mexico and in Beirut. In particular, what are your comments on the Oswald story? Can you confirm that Kostikov is still in Beirut? Is there anyone else in Beirut or Damascus who trace records suggest an active measures role or worse? We should be grateful for an early reply, and as I said on 6th of May, we'll treat anything you can tell us on a strictly service-to-service basis. So this, I don't even know who this is. ACM DeVere. Okay, that other guy's, yeah. the one that was from earlier. I guess this Mr. Anthony C.M. DeVere. Okay, let's go look at the next one. This is kind of interesting. I mean, it's just like intrigue and spy stuff. Okay, let's see. This might be interesting. This has 8 pages. All right, let's check this one out. I want to see. Okay, so there's a routing and a record sheet. It says this is the action info copy of the communication received on blank from MI5 in Washington. That's like the English CIA, English is CIA or whatever spy organization. What the heck? From MI5, or it could be a 6. I'm assuming that's a 5 in Washington. Another copy is being held in EBC, so I don't even know what that means. Any reply should be directed to EBC for further or for forwarding to liaison. Excuse me. Wow. And then Richard A. Sprague, I guess that's how you say it, Chief Counsel and Director of HSCA, a copy of attached document. See his attached letter to Sergey Zornono. These names. It's hard because there's so many like consonants and vowels. Oh, look. Is that? Oh, that's Holmes. I was going to say, is that like Richard Helms? Like, anyway, I know he's another one. Okay. Dear, I don't know who this is. It says, please find attached correspondence received from one Sergey. I guess that's how you say it. No, who claims that he provided information about Lee Harvey Oswald to the American Vice Consul, presumably Tom Blackshear, in Sofia, Bulgaria, in August of 1963. So about what, 3-4 months before the assassination? I've sent copies of these letters to the FBI and to my head office in London, D.H. Jones for GML Blackburn Can. And then Mr. A.H. Stimson enclosed. I guess it's who did it. I don't know. Oh, wow. It's got the addresses and everything. That's crazy. Return receipt requested, registration number, whatever. Sacramento, state capital. What the heck? That almost looks like linen from the side, but it's not. Okay, it's OG or Eugene O'Neill. Anyway, I'm just reading some of this stuff. So that's the envelope to the British Embassy, 3100 Massachusetts Avenue, Northwest, Washington, D.C. Okay, let's see if we can read some of this, huh? Let me look at these. Okay, the letters aren't so bad, but let me. Okay, so we'll read this one. Let me shrink myself down here. Bloop. So then I'm not in the way. Okay. So it says Sergey Zernono, blah, 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 his address. And this is March 15th, 1978, to the British ambassador in the British Embassy. I wrote a letter on February 15th, 1978, to Mr. James Callahan, Prime Minister. I enclosed registered mail number 251067 on July 18, 1963. I was in London, England at the airport, immigration officer number 175. I had no visa. Immigration placed me under house arrest. Mr. Smith in police uniform, Secret Service, brought me steak dinner and police officer interrogated me. He asked me what the embassy of USSR say. What did you heard in Vienna, Austria? I said, I have heard that one American defector, Mr. Lee Harvey Oswald, to Russia, and he returned to United States of America This man, he preparing to kill, to assassinate President John F. Kennedy. Whoa. Okay, I guess it's a little explosive, but not like earth shattering because we already know the narrative has been Lee Harvey Oswald. Lee Harvey Oswald was going to do it. So I don't know. Somebody further, I guess, radicalized it, dude, and then took over because he probably wasn't going to be able to do or pull it off. But whatever. Who knows? Mr. Smith, police officer, asked me, "Do you know his name?" I said his name start on O. His name was published one time in newspaper in Washington Post. Mr. Smith, police officer, said it was easy to find. No, in microfiche. It says, I do searching for the file in British police, British intelligence, and British immigration. I asking your embassy to help to find the truth, and I ask your government to forward my record of July 18th, 1963 to President Jimmy Carter and Senators Daniel K. Inouye. I don't know what this word is. U.S. Senate Select Committee on Intelligence, maybe? Okay. I enclosed his copy letter to I don't know who this is. Also, I enclosed you copy letter. Oh, this is hard to read because that part's cut off. On February 17, 1978, to Russia ambassador, maybe? Or your justice always will be appreciated. My incoming mail is controlled by FBI agents. Some of the mail I don't get not forward to me. FBI suppress my information and torture me. Oh, respectfully yours, Sergei Zernono. And with his U.S. passport. Okay, so this is retyped letter from the handwritten one. Okay, so basically, it's, yeah. So they've retyped it, but that was in his original handwriting, I guess. Wow. Okay, let's read. Let's at least read this one, and then I'll probably stop for now, and then maybe go back and do some more. It says, Mr. Wassilev, counsel, gave me order to transmit this information to U.S. government on August 9th of 1963 in Sofia, Bulgaria. Mr. Wassilev, counsel of Embassy of USSR, gave me this information about Mr. Lee Harvey Oswald on August 14th, 1963. Mrs. Becerra Asanova, girlfriend of Russian consul, came to my room and repeated that Mr. Lee Harvey Oswald is assassin. He will kill President Kennedy. On August 15th, 1963, in Sofia, Bulgaria, at the airport in embassy car, I told to Mr. Blackshire, American vice consul, that Mr. Lee Harvey Oswald is assassin. He has a weapon, or he has ordered one, Mr. Blackshire said it seems like he will kill someone. I said that Mr. Lee Harvey Oswald is preparing to kill President of the United States, John F. Kennedy. Mr. Blackshire said, where will it happen? I said they, right wing, will invite President, criticize him in the newspaper, then kill him. Wow. Mr. Blackshire told me he will give the telegram to Department of State, and he gave me the address where to report. At 9 a.m. on August 19th, 1963, in Washington, D.C., I went to see Mr. Kippigan, Director of Special Counsel Service, Department of State, at 1901 Pennsylvania Avenue, 11th floor. I told the director that I have information about President Kennedy. The director said, do not mention name of President Kennedy, only respond to the questions. The director said, tell us What will happen to Mr. Lee Harvey Oswald then? I said Mr. Lee H. Oswald will be killed after it killed Kennedy. I said I will take the truth drug to tell the truth. I can't think of the stuff that they're talking about. It says, director, tell us who else get killed in this country. I said, as I heard, that Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. will be killed. Who will kill Dr. King Jr.? I'm not going to use this word because it's insensitive, but the black leader. I said, a man who is in prison at this time. Mr. James Earl Ray was in prison at that time. Director asked where assassination will happen. I said, in Dallas, Texas. Director did call on FBI agents after FBI used anesthesia gas to freeze me to drug, I guess he means to drug me to keep amnesia. I told Director, Department of State, that Mr. Lee Harvey Oswald have a weapon. Go see him. Director told me you too can have weapons. So what if Oswald got weapons? Sincerely, Sergey Zernono, says U.S. House of Representatives Select Committee on Assassinations, told me to write letter to embassy in early 1977. Wow. Says this is a retyped letter. City managers about human rights, British embassy. Okay, I'm not going to read this one yet. I want to maybe start a couple more. This is, I mean, it's kind of getting interesting. I think I've seen this on people's social media where it talks about the different leaders that were going to be killed and all that stuff. And obviously, oh man, that's crazy that they had all this information. But like I said, Alan Dulles, I believe it was in this book, he had the information. The one with the Legacy of Ashes, I think that's the one, or it could have been the Devil's Chessboard about the CIA as well. Anyway, like Dulles had information that could have stopped some of this stuff, and they didn't do anything about it. Just let it happen. Like with the Holocaust, some of those people could have been saved because they had the information. But anyway, I'm gonna make more videos on this. I think we're getting into some juicy areas. I'm not saying that I fully believe that Lee Harvey Oswald did it by himself and all that, like a lone shooter. I mean, I'm sure we're about to find out some really cool things. But anyway, I'm gonna stop it here. I'll bring this back up probably pretty soon. I don't know if it'll be today, but I'll see about it. I may go ahead and just keep going with this one. But yeah, this is kind of interesting anyway. It's an interesting read. It just goes to show you how corrupt some of our government stuff is, man. It's like, what the heck? Anyway, I mean, I know it's very serious that, I mean, you don't want to think that you can't trust governments or what they've been up to, but I mean, some of this, it's just evil, evil stuff. But anyway, it's Kim. Like, share, and subscribe. Talk to y'all later. Bye.